farming sector contributes $50 billion to Ontario's economy and employs close to 875,000 people. 52% of agri-food jobs are in the GTHA. In York Region alone, the agri-food sector generates 57,000 permanent jobs and $2.7 billion in revenue. We need to do everything we can to protect these jobs, the prosperity and food security they provide, especially during a pandemic. So I don't understand why the Premier is fast-tracking a highway that will pave over 2,000 acres of farmland. That's 1,500 football fields of farmland. So, Speaker, has the government conducted an economic impact study of the effects that the Highway 413 and the sprawl it generates will have on the agri-food sector and our food security?
The response, the Government House Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you know, of course, it was always contemplated that when the Greenbelt was formed, that important provincial infrastructure would be made available in those areas. Speaker, obviously, the local area, be it Peel, York Region, and Halton, have all seen and are going to see a tremendous amount of growth. And that's why it is so important that we have the transit and transportation routes available to those growing communities. At the same time, the member is quite correct. The farming community is extraordinarily important to all of those areas. That's why we will be continuing to consult to ensure that whatever route is taken has the least impact, Mr. Speaker. There is, of course, an environmental assessment that is not due for some time quite yet, and we will continue to work closely with our partners and with the agricultural sector to make sure that not only can the needs of all of these areas be met, but we have an important transportation corridor, but also that our agricultural community remains vibrant. Thank you.
The supplementary question.
Speaker, with all due respect, Highway 413 will save commuters 30 seconds. Wow. 30 seconds. So the Premier was right when he said we need to be more self-sufficient. That's one of the lessons of this pandemic, whether it's procuring PPE or growing local food. But the bottom line is we need farmland to grow local food. And this is especially important in the province of Ontario when only 5% of our land is suitable for growing food. And 42% of the best farmland in this province is in the GTHA. And yet we're losing over 60,000 acres of farmland in this province every year. Once it's gone forever. We simply cannot afford to keep paving over our farmland without threatening our economy and our food security and damaging our food and farming sector. So, Speaker, I'm asking the Premier, will he protect farmland and cancel Highway 413 today?
And again, the Government House Leader will reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wonder how many thousands of acres of farmland were removed from production when windmills were forced on people in the province of Ontario, windmills that they didn't want and that the people, of the province of Ontario didn't need, Mr. Speaker. I'll certainly take no lessons from the members opposite when it comes to preserving and protecting farmland. As a federal member of Parliament, I worked very hard to ensure that farming continued across the Rouge National Urban Park. This was at when members of the Green Party were fighting just the opposite, Mr. Speaker. They want to not only they want to reforest Class 1 farmland across the Oak Ridges Moraine. We said no, Mr. Speaker, and we preserved that farmland. It was a Conservative government that brought in the Oak Ridges Moraine that protected hundreds of thousands of acres of Class 1 farmland, Mr. Speaker. This government will do all that it can and ensure that we continue to have a vibrant and sustainable agricultural community, because it's important in communities like mine where it is the #1 business activity, Mr. Speaker, and we will make sure that it thrives for a long time to come.